How are we doing, Bills? Welcome back to another Shroomy T video on the market. And right now, it looks like perma bulls are in denial. Now, I have been one of the biggest perma bulls, and I will be again come the end of this year when Bitcoin looks to put in its 4-year cycle bottom, which we've seen numerous times now. And I'm at the point where I can't deny the 4-year cycle, which is measured from low to low. So essentially, if Bitcoin had went in and put like an all-time high in now or in the next month, the 4-year low still would have been intact. The 4-year cycle still would have been intact because the cycles are obviously measured low to low. And obviously now I believe we're not going to get that new all-time high, and I have flipped bearish until the end of the year. It might not be the end of the year. At some point this year, I mapped out a buy area that I am comfortable buying Bitcoin. And when I look to get into Bitcoin down at these lows, I'll explain why I've got this target, which is between 30 and 50k. Anywhere below 54k, I'm going to be looking to get into the market. And if we are lucky enough to get 30k Bitcoin, that is going to be absolutely unreal. And right now, perma bulls are in denial, and I think a capitulation is going to come. Now we look at where I've got this 30 to 50k buy zone for Bitcoin for the 4-year lows. Let me break this down for you. Now, let's remove all this from the chart for a second. And let's have a clean Bitcoin chart on the 1 week time frame. And look, if we go back to the 2013 highs to the lows, what we can see, if we go down to 0, or let's just do 30. And let's go down to 0. Right, so Bitcoin's first cycle, again, from it starting out for Bitcoin forming and getting to its first high in 2013. Now remember 2013, we got to $1,200. Bitcoin then corrects to its Fibonacci's all the way down below the 0.786 Fib, which is about an 80% decrease in price. So there we go, 85%. And again, what's crucial to remember is 2013. Now, that is 4-year cycles. 2013 peak, 2017 peak, which I'm about to show you, the 2021 peak, and now the 2025 peak. So this is why it's crucial. Now, so we've got the start, the 2013 peak will then go down 85% just below the 0.786 Fib. Now, if we then go, this is the 2017 peak. If we were to go from the bear market lows, when Bitcoin went from its 2013 peak and corrected into the bear market, we went down 85%. And then if we were to go on that move, again, what can we see here? From there to here, Bitcoin in its 4-year cycle low gets all the way down yet again, 83% this time, below the 0.786 Fib. What did we do here? Below the 0.786 Fib, 85% this time, 84%, roughly the same number. And then again, what do we get? From the bear market lows in 2018, now remember the 4-year cycle, from the lows here, if we go all the way up to the 2021 high, in April 2021, we got to about 63k, and then later the year, we got to about 66k. We got put in a double top on Bitcoin. And again, if we go from the bear market lows to the highs, what happens yet again on Bitcoin? We get below the 0.786 Fib and correct about 80% again. So from highs to low, correct 85%, just below the 0.786 Fib. Again, 2017 peak, correct from high to low, just below the 0.786 Fib, 84%. And then from the bear market in 2018 to the 2021 double top, we correct about 80% again, just below the 0.786 Fib. Now, if we go from the 2023 low in here, or late 2022, all the way up to the high we got of 126k back in October time. If we were to see this repeat, which has happened 3 times in a row now, what would happen here is Bitcoin would get just under the 0.786 Fib. So that is 39k. So if we got just below it, let's say Bitcoin was to get between 39 and 30k, somewhere in here. If history was to repeat, we would get somewhere in here. Bitcoin would come down. Now that is, from where we are now, that is another 50% drop on Bitcoin. Now, if that is to happen, which is now my core theory on this channel, again, from Bitcoin's high to its low, it would be about a 72% move, let's say. And that would just be repeating the 4-year cycle, which we've seen 3 times prior. Now, the odds, in my opinion, are quite favourable for this. And this is why I'm saying that permabulls are in denial here. They're thinking we're going to blast off because RSIs are below 30, fear, blah, 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 blah. But for me, I've been the most bullish on this channel, and I hold my hands up. I have now flipped bearish. I flipped bearish in my last video. I said my bull thesis is invalidated, and albeit I do still see those targets, those crazy targets that I have, I see them coming in the next cycle. But this is what I'm saying. I just think we need to endure another 50% move down to this low for the next 3 to 6 months, and then I believe we can get the most unbelievable rally. This whole cycle we've just seen, from the lows in 2022 to the peak in 2025, Bitcoin's done incredible. Bitcoin's up something like 700%, 714% Bitcoin's up this cycle, and that is during the same period of time we've had QT, no money printing whatsoever. We've not had the greatest, loads of other factors which haven't been in play. The business cycle, the PMI hasn't expanded. But this next cycle coming up, once we get these lows, in my opinion, we're going to get QE, we're going to get loads of money printing. And obviously Jerome Powell is going to be out as of the end of April. We're going to get a new Fed chair who should be more bullish. And then, in my opinion, loads more money printing. And altcoins will do well this cycle, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to be making videos here on this channel every few days. And we're going to try not catch the bottom as such. I think try to catch the absolute bottom is not going to work, because people say if Bitcoin got to 40k, people are going to say, oh, wait till it gets to 35k, then I'll buy, and they'll never. And then it'll get to 35k, oh, I'm going to wait till 30k, and then they'll miss the boat, they'll not get in, and then they'll FOMO. That's just how it works. And for me, whilst this is my target, if we were to repeat the last 4 times, we would get just under 40k, in my opinion. But I'm not going to wait till we get to 40k in case it doesn't happen. The second we get under 54k, I'm probably going to start accumulating. And then for altcoins, we're going to see how the charts are looking. I'm wanting to accumulate as much Ethereum, as much Solana, and there's going to be a few other altcoins alongside Bitcoin, obviously. And then I'm going to be looking at crypto stocks. Once the stocks get their 4-year cycle lows, loads of stuff all on this channel. So right now, this is the theory that Bitcoin is going to correct roughly 80 to 70%, like we've seen in the last 3 cycles, bottoming in 2014, 4 years on 2018, 4 years on 2022, 4 years on 2026. So 2026, if we look at the last 3-4 year cycles, that would be the low. And that is what I'm expecting. I'm expecting more downside for now. And that is why I'm saying permabulls are in absolute denial at the minute. So yeah. Now, by overlapping that fractal from the 2021 high, where we came down, bear flagged and came down again, that would see us come down and probably reject off the 0.702 if this was to play out, which is about 50k. Whereas if we take the whole move, and I remove this, we could get something like this in play. Not identical time frames, but something like this where we come down and ignore the time frames as well, and we sweep under the 0.786 from the highs of the bear market, lows of the bear market, to the high of October, and that's where it would take us. And maybe we just have to wait until we get a massive trendline break. Again, very similar to in here. We get a trendline break and off we go. Bitcoin rallies 600%. So it's worth saving capital, in my opinion, especially on altcoins. And can we get something similar again from the 2017 peak? From the 2017 peak, what you would do is you would save a lot of downside. You save that 80% downside to then, when we do break out, you're catching a 16% move, a 16x move. Again here, protecting capital down 80% to again, then get that massive 600% move. So yeah, whereas if we were to catch the actual bottom of this, it'd be 700%, whereas here it'd be 500%. And then again, in here, you could catch it down. Like that. You could catch, that's a 22x there instead of waiting for the breakout and getting a 16x. So I think if we do get into this just under the 0.786, I'm going to be looking to deploy as much capital as possible into Bitcoin in here and getting ahead of this breakout of that trend line like we've seen here and here. And again, if we want to show it again, we can see this trend line. When that breaks off the Valhalla, come down, 4-year cycle low off the Valhalla, when break the trend line, rinse and repeat. So that is the theory at the minute on this channel. It's all about being patient. Patience pays. And during this time in the market when I'm half out the market and I'm not really looking to buy at this point. Now for me, I know I'm being bearish short term, but the long term I'm super bullish. I know since I said my bull case was invalidated, I lost about 15 subscribers, which is fair enough. And again, as I said, bulls are in denial. Bulls are in denial at this stage, but if Bitcoin does go down another 50%, they're going to get absolutely wrecked, which is why I'm now out of the market and getting out of the market. And yeah, we could get a relief rally. We could. That's fine. If they were to do that, they would just trap in more bulls. More bulls would get excited and then they just roll over into the 4-year cycle lows, which, as I have explained in this video over the last 10 minutes, it's fairly a compelling case. And there's no guarantees of it happening. It's just what I see in the market. But what is going to be so good about this is the entries I'm going to be able to get out of this if it plays out. It's going to be incredible. And on this channel, I will be recording it all. Now, I get it, 2025 has been a terrible year for crypto unless you only held Bitcoin and you held metals, which is good, but a lot of people just held alts and got absolutely smacked. So again, loads of lessons learned in 2025, and this is the approach at the minute. I'm actually glad we're going to get a low before going higher, instead of if we were to get that 2026 5-year cycle, which again at the time I feel stupid for. We're kind of falling for it with CZ. Whenever CZ says anything, it's usually wrong. He benefits from people using his exchanges and buying crypto. He says there's a new top coming and the market gets liquidated 19.6 billion, like we've seen in October. Binance crashed all of it and we know what happened there. But yeah, that's going to be all for this video. If you have enjoyed it, please smash that like button, hit the subscribe if you are new, and be sure to turn the notification bell on for more videos like this coming soon. Cheers, guys.